Namaskar, Kolkata. I hope I've kind of said it right. Every city that we go to has to offer something to the country. So if you go to Bangalore, they're offering IT. If you go information technology, and it's called IT capital of the India. If you go to Mumbai, it's financial capital. If you go to Varanasi, it's spiritual capital. Delhi is political capital. If it's Kolkata, I can't give one single name because it's an all-round development. I mean, amount of things that you have contributed, the city has contributed is amazing. It's not one single specific. For example, maximum Nobel laureates of India have come from Kolkata. Same is true for Magsaysay Award. I mean, maximum Indian Magsaysay Award winners have come from Kolkata. And then Mr. Rao already spoke about freedom fighters, and we have filmmakers, and we have musicians, and educationists, and I mean, you name the thing, and this city has offered. It's an all-round, and hence you can't call it a capital of one thing. It's presenting India in a manner to the world that it is. I mean, thank you, Kolkata, for doing this to India. Thanks a lot. We are really, really grateful to the city. Coming to my subject on financial planning, planning for life, taking charge of a financial life, since we are talking money, I just wanted to be sure that I'm talking at the right place. Just wanted to check with the audience. How many of you all want to make a lot of money in life? Please put your hands up. Okay, great. So I think I'm in right place here and sometimes if audience is sleeping, I ask them to put up both the hands. And if my session is after lunch, then I ask people to stand up as well, because it's the toughest. And here the benefit of coming last is whether you're good or not, you get to hit the winning shot. So that's what is going to happen. Well, all my earlier speakers have done a wonderful job. I'm just here to hit a winning shot, but that's because I'm the last man. Now, going back to my question, people said they want to make a lot of money. And my second question is, why do you want to make a lot of money? Here's a question to audience. Why do you all want to make a lot of money? Can you name those, your goals?
My goals are children's education.
How much money you need for that? Okay. Anybody else? What are those choices for you? Dharmesh, is my slide there? My slide is there. So how many people in the... so sir, if you're saying something, please go ahead.
No, what I was saying, basically, having a lot of freedom to implement my choices, what I want.
So what are those?
So that could be in the, having a peaceful retired life, going for the children's settlement.
How much do you need for those?
And it could even be for doing philanthropic job, anything of that. Now, going to that, at my age, like I'm almost senior citizen. So at this age, maybe if I want a real choice, it has to be minimum of the order of 5 to 6 crores.
Okay.
Apart from all the, having the everything settled.
Okay. So here is a question to the audience. How many people in the audience have written down articulated financial goals? Written down. These are my list of responsibilities and these are my list of dreams. Clear cut, written down. If you are married, you have done that with your spouse. How many people in the audience have that? 1, 2. What about others? So we are talking about a situation where we are saying that we want to make a lot of money, but we don't know for what we want to make a lot of money. It's like a tricky situation that I had today morning. I was boarding a taxi to come to go to airport, and Mumbai, all of you all know, has now 2 terminals, 2 airports. One is domestic and one is international. And I took a taxi and I told taxi wala, airport jaoge? So he said, haan. Then I said in taxi, and he said, sir, kaun sa airport? I said, yaar, koi bhi airport le lo. And he's like, he thought this guy has gone mad. He just thought, it's just... And then he said, nahi sir, aapko kahan jana hai? I said, kahin bhi le lo. And a little bit of witty kind of person, so he said that, sir, फिर तो हम वहाँ ले जाएंगे जहाँ पे हमें लंबा भाड़ा मिले. And that's what happens with all of us. All those people who don't work for their financial goals works for somebody else's financial goals. Please write this down. This is the fact. If you don't work for your financial goals, you'll work for somebody else's financial goals. If you're doing a job, you could be working for your bosses or your corporate's financial goal. If you're a business person, you could be working for your client's financial goals. If you're an investor, you could be working for your agent's or distributor's financial goals where he is making a lot of money. And this happens purely and solely because we have not articulated where we want to go. I mean, when I asked the first question, how many of you all want to make a lot of money, hands went up. And then when I asked the second question, why do you want to make money, somebody said, yes, but I have not articulated. Somebody could articulate. There was one hand which went up. I couldn't pay attention to that person. I mean, give a chance. But we didn't have more than 3 or 4 hands going up saying why we want to make a lot of money. And those goals. How many people have heard in life that you have to make financial goals before? Before me, how many of you all in the audience know that there is an importance of making list of financial goals? Please put your hands up. You all are aware. Everybody is aware. And we still don't end up doing that. And you know why? Because our mind doesn't allow you to do that. Believe me. Invariably, people say that when it comes to investing, there's problem in mind. It's not in mind. It's the mind which is a problem. Swami Vivekananda has said brilliantly, our mind is like a monkey. A monkey who's drunkard, who has had a lot of alcohol, and who's bitten by a scorpio, and who has a devil inside of ego. Now try and control that mind. Our mind jumps from here to there, from one goal to another. When it comes to articulation, there is this big problem because it's a mind which creates problem time and again. And hence, whenever you sit down to make list of financial goals, your mind will not let you do that. Invariably, I have situation whereby people come and say, Gaurav, let me start investing right now. We'll decide goals later on. Tell me which is the best product right now. वो गोल सेटिंग बाद में करेंगे. Gaurav, this year I want to go abroad, so I have this money, just invest. Next year I promise I'll come back to you and we'll do it in a manner that you say. There are some people who come and tell me that, you know something, I just want to invest this money right now and then thoroughly understand the concept of personal finance and then decide on my goals. It's just a way of avoiding facing your mind. And why do we do that? Because mind creates havoc. Mind, as far as money is concerned, the emotions that arise. Money has no emotions, but money creates all possible emotions. That's the fact. And a lot many times we hear, paisa haath ka mail hai, and somebody went and told, paisa haath ka mail hai. And you know what money said? Haan, lekin maine kabhi kachra peti nahi dekhi. And that's what it is. Now, what are the emotions that comes in mind when we sit down and we decide on financial goals? Let's look at it. Let's go to some basic human needs. First of all, the base human needs are physiological needs, which is our food, water, for which we require money. Perfectly fine. Point taken. The second is security, which is clothing, shelter, etc., for which we also require money. Perfectly fine. Thereafter, the third, fourth, and fifth stage is when you're looking at Maslow's law of hierarchy or anything else, we are talking about love and belongingness. We are talking about self-respect and self-esteem. And lastly, we are talking about self-actualization. Now, this has to come from within. The first two stages as human beings, we have to purchase from outside. Sahil, it's there? My slide? No, I thought Soumya was carrying it. Okay. But the third, fourth, and fifth stage cannot be fulfilled with money. Unfortunately, because we are used to fulfilling a first and second stage, we feel that the third, fourth, and fifth stage will also be fulfilled with money. And hence we start looking, I'm not against money. Neither are scriptures against money. In fact, our scriptures are so brilliant. We are blessed to be born in a region where scripture talks about money in such a comprehensive manner. When it comes to money, scriptures are very, very clear. Scriptures say that good people should acquire wealth and use it for the benefit of society. If good people do not acquire wealth, it's not so good people will acquire wealth and use it for the destruction of mankind. Very, very, very clear scriptures. So I'm not talking going against money. I'm not saying don't fulfill your dreams and aspirations. Please do that. But just don't start thinking that only if you have money that can happen. Now, when it comes to deciding financial goals, what are the problems that comes in mind when we sit down? First and foremost, because our physiological and security needs can be fulfilled with help of money, we have a fear that what will happen if we don't have money. Obviously, because it's a question of our survival. How will we fulfill our basic needs of physiological need and security need? Perfectly fine. Now, if we have fear, we are bound to have insecurity. Very, very common outcome. If you have fear, you're bound to feel insecure about money. Natural. Now, if you have fear and insecurity, you're bound to feel anxious about money. Very, very natural. Now, if you have fear, if you have insecurity, if you have anxiety, you're bound to have greed. I mean, these are natural progressions that happens and that comes in mind. Let's sit down to make a list of your financial goals and see how your mind wavers. It just keeps flickering all the time, always, because all these emotions arise. But there is other side to it, and which is more problem. We also want to fulfill our third, fourth, and fifth stage. And that's the reason we need money to just feel that we belong to the society and community. So we want to do things which we feel will get us attention. Now, that's not going to happen with the help of money, but we get into materialism. Again, I'm not against materialism. I'll talk about that later. In fact, if you like Mercedes E220, please go ahead and pick up Mercedes E220 or Honda Accord or whatever. But after sitting in that car, if you're going to look at the neighbor's model, and if that neighbor has a Mercedes model which is older than you, you're going to feel elevated. And if it's newer than you, you're going to feel depressed. Then is it really a point having that kind of materialism? But we start looking at that because we feel that other stages can be fulfilled with money. Now, when these kind of situations arise in our mind creates havoc. And hence, we want financial freedom. We feel that once we have financial freedom, we will be fine. But the fact is that financial freedom will not come with money. Financial freedom will come when we have freedom from these thoughts. But what do we end up doing? We start looking at money as a solution for the havoc that gets created in our mind. And hence, we look at our increments in terms of money. Now, should we be looking at increments in terms of money year on year? Or once our basic needs of food, clothing, shelter is taken care of, we should look at increment in terms of how much more time I could spend compared to last year doing things that I like and enjoy? How much better is my health compared to last year? How much less medicine I took? How many less number of times I visited doctor compared to last year? Shouldn't that be the real increments that we should be having it? Wealth should be looked in a more comprehensive manner. I am not against wealth. I'm not going to say that don't look at money. Money is needed. Only thing is look at it in a more comprehensive manner. Look at it in a manner whereby you are enjoying wealth. What is happening is, as a financial planner, as a columnist, as somebody who's on TV shows, I get emails, I get phone calls, I have people who are writing to me letters, I interact with the audience, and I'm seeing more and more people not enjoying the amount of money that we have. What happens is people end up there's some movement here. Can we have that movement stop, please? Because there is entire audience paying attention there. I'm sorry. So what is happening is that we have more and more people getting into that they're not enjoying wealth. What's the point in having that kind of money? Is it really kind of giving you that enjoyment? How many of us actually are confident that we don't have money to purchase food tonight? No one. How many of you are confident that कल सुबह खाने के लिए पैसे घर में नहीं है? How many of you are 100% sure that you don't have money to purchase food for next 1 month? So there is money for food. How many of you are sure that you don't have clothes to wear tomorrow? How many of you are staying on payments tonight? Look at the situation. We have food, we have clothing, we have shelter, and we still have all this anxiety about money. And it's not allowing us to enjoy the wealth that we have. Please look out for aspirations. Please look at dreams. But at least enjoy that. We don't end up enjoying. In a race to achieve financial freedom, invariably my observation is that people have become slave of money. And that's not going to give solutions. And that's where we start looking at scriptures. And our scriptures have defined wealth in such a brilliant manner. They're talking about 4 kinds of wealth. The first is, they talk about physical. Our health is our first wealth. Second is a social wealth. Our relationship with our spouse, our family, our relatives, our friends, that's our second wealth. Third is our emotional wealth, how stable we are or whatever. And fourth is a financial wealth. Now, out of these 4 wealths, if any one is not stable, will you be able to enjoy other 3? Imagine a situation whereby we have a 5 crore or a 10 crore portfolio. Brilliant. And we require a ward boy for our routine activity. Is there a situation to be happy about? Or imagine a situation we again have a 5 crore, 10 crore portfolio, but we are litigating with our spouse for alimony and divorce, or we are in a situation whereby we have some kind of ancestral property dispute going on. Are we enjoying that wealth? What's the point in making investments and knowing where the market is going and knowing all the possible information that's needed for financial market, all the possible information that there are various products available, how to save tax, everything, but you're not enjoying that. Is it really worth it? More and more situation, more and more people that I'm facing as a speaker are situation where people are not enjoying the kind of wealth that is there. And is it really worth it? In fact, the entire rat race, the race of making money is making people in a situation whereby health is getting affected, the emotional life is... The scriptures again talk about this brilliant rule of 888. And there are a couple of things you may want to note it down. Like the first thing I said is, people who don't work for their goals work for somebody else's goals. You may want to write this down. Please do it and always remember it. People who will not work for their goals will definitely work for somebody else's goals, number 1. Number 2, write this down, rule of 888. 8 hours of work every day, 8 hours of sleep and rest, and 8 hours of spending time with your family or doing activities and hobbies that you enjoy. You can tweak this for some time. It's perfectly fine. If you have set up a new venture, if you are in a new job, starting your career, you could be working a little longer. Perfectly fine. But at some point of time, you should come down to that. Similarly, if you're on a vacation or if there's some family marriage or some family function, you could be enjoying for more number of hours. Perfectly fine. But you'll have to follow back to this rule of 888. Similarly, if you're ill, you could be resting. But eventually, you will have to come down to this rule of 888. If you don't do it knowingly, you'll be forced to do it. You probably will have some kind of illnesses, some kind of stress, whereby you'll either be working less or you'll have to rest. Something or the other will happen. Similarly, if you don't work for 8 hours, you'll again have a problem. Look at wealth in much more comprehensive manner. Scriptures talk about it in a very, very brilliant manner. I'll keep narrating those, but going back to financial goals and the financial goals that you need to set and how do you do it. One way is a typical financial planner will tell you, and follow that, make a list, write down the amount that you require, priority, brilliant. Do that. Not a problem. But I'm going to tell you an easier way of doing it. Just go home today and take your photograph. Take a family picture. If it's youngsters, take that selfie and selfie stick and whatever. My daughter plays with all those things. I don't know how to do that. But please take a family picture. And then write your goals next to it. Just simple 1-page financial plan. See the kind of commitment your family will have in that financial plan. Invariably what happens is all those financial plans are made by just one member of the family or 1 or 2, and others lose interest, and hence there is not much commitment that happens. Here, the moment you do that, the moment the entire goal setting is done jointly with the family, the commitment level is much, much, much higher. Everybody is focusing. Also, because you have taken a family picture, you have put all your goals, you can do it electronically. So what you can do is, if you have taken electronic form, and if you have taken on your phone or whatever it is, and then you get these sticky note posted, so take a printout and put that, or electronically you can put that notes and ensure that everybody sees that. I mean, you may put it in a house somewhere, or in your cupboard, or in your phone, or whatever, but ensure that everybody is looking, all members of family are looking at their financial goals, and see the kind of commitment that family has. And after that, the entire financial planning activity and goal achieving becomes so much easier because you have entire family's commitment. Start naming your investments. That's another thing that you need to do. And I don't see people doing that. And since Birla is one of the sponsors, I'll use Birla's scheme name. Birla has one scheme, Birla Frontline Equity Fund. Now, if you're doing an SIP, and earlier speakers have spoken about the importance of SIP, and it is, because it's a question of, it's a kind of developing habit. If you're doing an SIP into Birla Frontline Equity Fund, don't call it Birla Frontline Equity Fund SIP. First, decide for which goal you are investing. If you are doing that investment, say for your daughter's education after 10 years, and if your daughter's name is Shama, then start calling it Shama Higher Education Equity Fund. Trust me, the kind of commitment that whole family will have into it is brilliant. How does it matter whether it's called Birla Frontline Equity? I'm not saying fund is good or bad. End of the day, decide the purpose. I've seen this real life situation. We have quarterly reviews in our office. And when clients come, wives, and sometimes we also encourage children to come. Only thing is, when children are attending, we tell clients, just tell us beforehand, so certain numbers we don't discuss.